What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today we're going to go through 3 envelopes that I just received back in the mail. These are going to be, I believe, vintage football returns from the 1960s or 70s, so just stick with me and we'll see what I got. Okay, this first one is postmarked from California, and it is from former Oakland Raider Willie Hall on 1, 2, 3. Kind of scrunched it down there at the bottom. I'll move that so you can see it a little better. And 4. So, Willie Hall. Willie Hall was born in Georgia. However, he played his high school football in Connecticut and played his college football at USC in Southern California. So talk about moving around quite a bit for your football career. He was chosen in the second round, 31st overall, by the New Orleans Saints in the 1972 draft. He played linebacker. He was part of the Saints. His first season, his rookie season, he appeared in 14 games. However, in his second season, he only appeared in 7 games. Yes, after the 73 season, he did not appear in any games in 1974. However, in 1975, he was acquired by the Oakland Raiders. He only appeared in 7 games his first year with Oakland, but in 1976, he won his starting role with the Raiders, and he would later become the starting linebacker, one of the starting linebackers on the eventual Super Bowl champions of the 1976 season in the Oakland Raiders. He would spend another season with Oakland, appearing in 14 games in 1977, and another season with Oakland, appearing in 11 games in 1978. I'm not really sure what happened after the 78 season. I don't know if there was an injury or if he decided that he got a better offer working elsewhere. However, he retired after the 78 season and no longer played in the NFL. So, very happy to get a Super Bowl champion like Willie Hall in my collection. Has some very nice penmanship, as you can tell. Very nice penmanship. So I'm very happy to add his autograph to my collection. Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. Alright, this next one is postmarked from Pittsburgh. And oh yes, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you're going to like this one. This is former Pittsburgh Steeler great J.T. Thomas on 1, 2, 3, and a number 4. And J.T. Thomas, as many of you may or may not be aware, was an integral part on 4 Super Bowl championship teams of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1970s. This gentleman right here was one of the cornerbacks on that team and a mainstay almost his entire career in Pittsburgh in the secondary. Thomas, who was from Georgia, played high school football in Georgia, went on to play and start at Florida State University. In 1973, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected him 24th overall in the first round of the draft. Immediately, in 1973, he was an impactful player, appearing in 14 games as a rookie, a streak that he would continue for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons until 1978, where he missed an entire season due to a rare blood disease. In 1979, he bounced back in full form and appeared in 1979 and 80 and 1981, not missing a game. So prior to 1978, he didn't miss a game. He sat out an entire year because of his health condition, and then from 79, 80, and 81, he didn't miss a game either. He won 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And after the 81 season, he moved on to the Denver Broncos for 1 year. And at 31 years old, he retired from football appearing in 125 games over his career. He did get selected to a Pro Bowl one time in his career, and that was in 1976. After retiring in 1981, in the early 80s, he got into the restaurant business, and according to his Wikipedia page, he opened an Applebee's in his hometown area, and in 2009, he opened a restaurant called Red Hot and Blue in Homestead, Pennsylvania. So if there's anybody watching, from the Pennsylvania area, I'm not really sure where Homestead is. He owns the restaurant Red Hot and Blue. I'm assuming it's still open. So if you ever are in the area, stop in. You may see Mr. Thomas there. So again, a all-time great cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He teamed up with Mel Blount and won many Super Bowls with Mel Blount, who is a Hall of Famer. Obviously, he was a very good player for his time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been around as long as he was in the backfield for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. All right. So this next one is former Washington Redskin great Joe Lavender, or Joseph Lavender, on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Lavender Blue is the old nursery rhyme, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you guys remember that one or not. Also, I want to say it was made popular in the Cinderella reboot a few years ago, but that's not this guy. Joe Lavender was actually a pretty big guy for being a cornerback. He stood at 6'4", which is not really very common for a defensive back. You don't see guys that are that tall, not at least during that era, typically playing the cornerback position. Lavender was born in Louisiana. However, he played his high school ball and college football in California. He played for San Diego State University, and he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in 1973, same year as J.T. Thomas. And he played 3 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. He appeared in 2 Pro Bowls. Both of those were with the Washington Redskins. We'll talk about that in a second. Like J.T. Thomas, a rookie in the same year, for the Eagles, he played in 13 games started, and as a rookie, the following year he started all 14 games, and in 1975 he also appeared in 12 of the 13 games for the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, after the 75 season, he was then traded to the Washington Redskins, and the Redskins made him their starting cornerback. He appeared in almost every game for the Redskins, with the exception of his final year in 1982. And while with the Redskins, he made 2 Pro Bowl appearances in 1979 and 1980 for the Redskins. And in 1982, an injury kind of slowed him down. However, he did play in the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl ring with the Washington Redskins in 1982. He decided that his injuries were too difficult to come back from, and retired on top as a Super Bowl champion after the 1982 season. So overall, like I said, standing at 6'4", 190 pounds, that's a pretty tall guy to be throwing down in the secondary too. Typically your wide receivers were that tall, but not your defensive backs. So very happy to add Mr. Lavender to my collection. He was one of the all-time great Washington Redskins, being a former cornerback for them for many, many years. Very happy to add this gentleman, J.T. Thomas, the Super Bowl champ of the Steelers. And very happy to add this champion of the Oakland Raiders, Willie Hall, to my collection. I want to thank you for taking your time to join me for another episode, and I look forward to your comments below. Thanks.